Hello everybody, welcome to Math 100. Today's topic is about higher order derivatives and implicit differentiation. Let us start with higher derivatives. So suppose you are given a differentiable function, f of x. So far, ang ginagawa natin ay kinukuha natin ang derivative with respect to x ng ating function f, which we also denote as f prime of x. And this is actually the first derivative of our function. Now, what if ang kunin naman natin this time the derivative with respect to x of our first derivative? At ang kinukuha natin ngayon dito ay ang ating second derivative. So, this is the second derivative of function f, which we also denote as f double prime of x. Let us continue. At this time, ang kunin natin ay ang derivative with respect to x ng ating second derivative. And you can guess na ito na ay ang ating third derivative, which we denote as such, f triple prime of x. Kaya naman pag kinontinue natin to, ibig sabihin kahit gaano kalaki yung number, halimbawa, gusto nyo yung 100th derivative, paano natin yan makukuha? We just need to differentiate with respect to x the preceding derivative. So, ano yung preceding derivative? It's the 99th derivative. Paano natin dinedenote yun? Siyempre, hindi na convenient kung ganito ang notation natin. No? Isipin nyo, may 99 na linya sa taas. So, instead, isusulat natin siya as, may parenthesis sa taas, tapos kung pang ilang derivative. So, that's the 99th derivative of f with respect to x. And this is now our 100th derivative. Thus, in general, for all natural number n equals 1, 2, 3, so on and so forth, kahit gaano kalaki yan, kayang-kaya natin makuha ang f derivative ng f with respect to x. And what you need to do is you just need to differentiate the n minus first derivative of f with respect to x. And that is your higher order derivative. Alright, so para mas clear, kuha tayo ng examples. Let's have this first example. Let us find the first 5 derivatives of the function f of x equals 2x raised to 4 minus 3x squared. Okay, kunin natin daw ang first 5 derivatives. So, kunin muna natin si first derivative. What is f prime of x? Ang tayo titingin dito kay f. Differentiate natin yung first term. So, you have 2 times 4. You'll have 8x raised to 4 minus 1. So, you have 8x cubed. Minus, differentiate natin itong pangalawang term. You have 3 times 2. That is 6. Times x raised to 2 minus 1. So, you have x. That's your first derivative. Dahil dyan, ano ngayon ang ating second derivative? For the second derivative, what do you need to do? You need to differentiate the first derivative. So, dito tayo titingin. You have 8 times 3, 24. X raised to 3 minus 1, so 2. Minus, anong derivative ng 6x? It's 6. So, that's your f double prime. Ano ngayon ang ating third derivative? Differentiate natin this time, si second derivative, you have 24 times 2. That is 48. X raised to 2 minus 1, so x lang ito. Minus, anong derivative ni 6? It's 0. So, you just have 48. 48x. Tapos, kunin Kunin naman natin this time ang fourth derivative. Kapag fourth derivative, gamitin na natin yung gantong notation. Anong derivative ni 48x? It's 48. And finally, dahil dyan, ano ang fifth derivative? It's derivative ni 48, which is 0. And that is your final answer. This is the first 5 derivatives of our function. I hope clear yan. Let's move on to the next example. For the next example, we want to find the second derivative of the function y equals x 4 minus x squared square root. Okay? So, gusto natin second derivative. Ano ang second derivative? It's the derivative of the first derivative. So, essentially, what we do is we differentiate 2 times. Para mas madaling i-differentiate itong function natin, isulat natin siya as such. You have x times 4 minus x squared raised to 1/2. Ayan, para mas madali natin siya ma-differentiate. Ano ngayon si first derivative? What is dy dx? This is a product, so we use product rule. Copy nyo si x. Times differentiate itong pangalawang factor, that is 1/2. 4 minus x squared raised to 1/2 minus 1, so you have negative 1/2. Times, yung derivative ni 4 minus x squared, you have derivative ni 4, which is 0. Derivative na negative x squared is negative 2x, so you have negative 2x. Plus, this time, ang ating stay ay ang 4 minus x squared raised to 1/2, and then you differentiate x, which is just 1. And then, isimplify lang natin ng onte. What will we get? Ito, magka-cancel out dito. So, you have negative x squared, 4 minus x squared raised to negative 1/2, plus 4 minus x squared raised to 1/2. And then, kunin na natin ngayon ang gusto natin, which is the second derivative of y with respect to x. Dito na tayo magdi-differentiate. Sa first term, stay natin si negative x squared. And then, differentiate natin ito. Anong derivative niyan? It's negative 1/2 times 4 minus x squared raised to negative 1/2 minus 1. So, that's negative 3 over 2. Times derivative ngayon ni 4 minus x squared, which is negative 2x. Plus, this time ang stay natin ay ang 4 minus x squared raised to negative 1/2. And ang i-differentiate natin ay negative x squared. Ang derivative niyan ay negative 2x. Plus, dito na tayo sa pangalawang term. Anong derivative niyan? It's 1/2. 4 minus x squared raised to 1/2 minus 1, which is negative 1/2, times derivative nitong loob. Anong derivative ng loob? It's negative 2x. And that is your final answer. So that is the second derivative of y with respect to x. Sana clear ang second example. Let us have the third example. Sabi dito, find daw f triple prime of 2 if our function f is negative x raised to 4 plus 2x cubed plus x plus 4. Okay? So, gusto natin ang third derivative. Tapos, i-evaluate natin siya when x is 2. And I leave it to you to verify. Please do. I-verify po ninyo na ang third derivative ay f triple prime of x is given by this function. It's negative 24x plus 12. Hindi po ito mahirap. Pakigawa na lang po. And since this is your third derivative, ano ngayon ang ating sagot? We just substitute 2 to f triple prime of x. So you have negative 24 times 2 plus 12 You have negative 48 plus 12, so you have negative 36. And that is your final answer. Okay? Sana walang tanong sa higher order derivatives. Kung meron, isulat nyo muna and then tanongin sa discussion teachers later on. So sa ngayon, move on na muna tayo sa next topic, ang ating implicit differentiation. Okay, for this, consider muna natin ang function y which satisfies this equation. So, consider this equation and then hanapin daw natin si dy dx. Okay. Paano kaya natin mahanap si dy dx dito? Sa mga previous examples natin, para mahanap si dy dx, ano yung given sa atin? We are given a function y of x, wherein y is expressed explicitly in terms of x. So, you have y equals something in terms of x, tapos i-differentiate natin. So, mula dito sa xy equals 1, subukan nating i-isolate si y. So, you have xy equals 1. Paano natin ma-isolate si y? Mag-divide tayo ng x. Ibig sabihin nito, y equals 1 over x. Ano ba ang 1 over x? Is just x raised to negative 1. At mula dito, kayang-kaya na natin kunin ang dy dx. Ano ang dy dx? It's negative 1 times x raised to negative 1 minus 1 or negative 2. So this is also equal to negative 1 over x squared. And that's your dy dx. Alright. Now, suppose this time, you have x cubed plus y squared plus y equals 3x. At ganun din, hanapin din daw natin ang dy dx. Subukan natin gawin yung ginawa natin kanina. Anong ginawa natin? Sinubukan natin i-isolate si y. So, gawin natin yon. From x cubed plus y squared plus y equals 3x. Lahat ng y iwan natin sa kaliwa. So, you have y squared plus y equals 3x minus x cubed. And then, pwede natin ilabas si y dito. So, you have y plus 1 equals 3x minus x cubed. And then, i-divide natin lahat by y plus 1. So, you get y equals this quotient. Pero ano yung problema dito? May y pa rin, ano? Hindi natin siya ma-express na puro x lamang yun dito. Actually, hindi natin kaya. So, pag ganito, anong paraan natin para makuha si dy dx? So, to find dy dx here, we use the process, ano sa tingin nyo? Siyempre yung topic, ano? We use the process of implicit differentiation. Ano ang implicit differentiation? Ito ay pag-differentiate lang term by term with respect to x, keeping in mind that y is some function of x. So, anong ibig sabihin nun? Tingnan natin, ang implicit differentiation ay, ito siya, no? So, you are given an equation involving x and y, and assuming y is a function of x. Kanina nung nakita natin yung equation natin, may x and y, tapos yung y, ina-assume natin siyang function ng x. Paano natin makukuha si dy dx? We have the following steps. Unang-una, you differentiate both sides of the equation with respect to x. Okay? Differentiate nyo lang. Yung katulad lang ng ginagawa natin so far. And then, yung pangalawa, you collect all terms involving dy dx on one side and the remaining on the other side. Decide lang kayo saan nyo gusto ilagay si dy dx, usually sa left. Pero kayo bahala kung saan nyo gusto. Basta kapag nilagay nyo na siya sa isang side, nasa kabila na yung mga walang dy dx. And then finally, you solve for dy dx. So this is implicit differentiation. Tingnan natin kung paano to ginagawa. Let's have examples. Okay? Kanina, ito yung i-consider natin. So, find dy dx if x cubed plus y squared plus y equals 3x. Alright, anong sabi ng first step? Sabi ni first step, differentiate both sides. Okay, so dito tayo sa kaliwa. Differentiate natin with respect to x. Anong derivative ni x cubed? It's 3x squared plus, ano ang derivative ni y squared? Okay, so medyo weird ito, no? Bakit may y? Ganito lang, isipin nyo, huwag nyo muna isipin na y ito. Isipin nyo parang x lang siya. Okay, anong derivative ni x squared? It's 2x. So you write here 2, pero instead of x, y. Okay, so parang kung paano ka lang nag-differentiate, anong derivative ni y squared? It's 2y. Pero, anong ina-assume natin? Ina-assume natin na si y ay function of x. Di ba nga ang y squared, it's equal to y squared. So, ano pa lang yung nadi-differentiate mo dito? Yung 2, yung naka-raise kay 2. So, 2y. Tapos, i-differentiate mo pa yung loob by chain rule. Kasi y is still a function of x eh. Anong derivative ni y? It's just dy dx. So, this is just by chain rule. Ulitin natin. Pag y squared, ang derivative ay, syempre yung outer function muna yung i-differentiate, yung naka-raise kay 2, that's why you have 2y, times derivative ngayon ng loob, which is dy dx. That's by chain rule, plus, anong derivative ni y? So, pwede nyo isipin na parang x lang, anong derivative ni x? It's just 1. Times, derivative ni y, kasi ang y ay function pa, so, dy dx. So, yan ang derivative ni y. You have 1 times dy dx. This is also by chain rule. And then equals derivative ni 3x, which is just 3. Okay? So, okay na tayo sa first step. Next step is to collect all terms with dy dx on one side and the remaining on the other side. So, siguro sa kaliwa na lang natin ilagay lahat ng may dy dx. Alin yon? Ito at saka ito. Iwan lang natin sila. So, you have 2y dy dx plus dy dx. And then, yung lahat ng walang dy dx, ilipat natin sa kabila. Alin yon? Yung 3, nandyan na siya. Stay na lang natin. Minus 3x squared. And then, finally, ano yung third step? We solve for dy dx. So, mula dito, factor out natin si dy dx. So, you'll have dy dx times the quantity 2y plus 1 equals 3 minus 3x squared. And then, paano natin makukuha si dy dx? We just divide both sides by 2y plus 1. So, you'll have dy dx equals 3 minus 3x squared all over 2y plus 1. And that is your final answer. That is your final answer. So, sinundan lang natin yung tatlong steps. Ano yung tatlong steps? Differentiate both sides. Tapos, tandaan nyo na y is a function of x. Kaya kapag nagdi-differentiate kayo ng something involving y, in the end, lagi kayo nag-multiply ng dy dx. Okay? Sa x cube, x lang ito, so wala ng dy dx. Etong y squared tsaka y, dahil may y sila, in the end, mag-multiply kayo ng dy dx. Okay? And then, you collect all terms with dy dx on one side. Decide kayo kung sa kaliwa or sa kanan. Basta, nasa isang side lang sila. Tapos, yung walang dy dx, nasa kabilang side. And then, finally, you solve for dy dx, you factor out, and then divide both sides. Okay, let's have another example. So, find dy dx if xy cubed equals x plus y squared plus 1. Sundan lang natin ang steps. Ano yung first step? You differentiate both sides. Differentiate natin itong product na ito. So, we use product rule. Copy natin si x, and then differentiate natin itong y cube. Anong derivative ni y cube? You have 3y squared times, dahil involving y ito, chain rule, you still multiply dy dx sa dulo. Plus, this time you copy y cube and then you differentiate x. Anong derivative ni x? It's 1. So, done ka na sa kaliwa. Sa kanan tayo. Anong derivative ni x? That's 1. Plus, derivative ni y squared, it's 2y. Dahil involving y, you multiply dy dx sa dulo. Plus, anong derivative ni 1? It's 0. You're done. Sa next step, ano yung next step? You collect all terms with dy dx sa isang side at walang dy dx sa kabila. Sa kaliwa na lang, so mag-i-stay ito. You have 3xy squared dy dx. Tapos you have this one, pero nasa kanan. So kapag nilipat sa kaliwa, magiging negative. So negative 2y dy dx equals, alin yung walang dy dx? Itong 1, nasa kanan na siya, so stay lang. And then itong y cube, kaya magne-negate kasi nasa kaliwa pa siya. And then next step is you solve for dy dx. Factor out natin si dy dx. Anong meron tayo? Dito ay 3xy squared minus 2y. And then stay lang natin si 1 minus y cube. Ibig sabihin, ano ngayon si dy dx? Dy dx is 1 minus y cube all over 3xy squared minus 2y. And this is your final answer. Box lang natin. This is your final answer. Okay, sana clear ito. Let's move on to the next example. For the next example, find dy dx. If x squared y squared equals x squared y plus 3xy squared. Okay? So, first step tayo. First step is you differentiate both sides. Dito tayo kay x squared y squared. Ang x squared y squared is a product. So, we use product rule, differentiate na, or stay natin sa x squared and then differentiate natin itong si y squared. Derivative yan is 2y, dahil may y, dy dx. Plus, stay natin si y squared. Tapos, i-differentiate natin ngayon si x squared. Derivative is 2x. And you're done. Sa kaliwa. Sa kanan, x squared y, product ulit. So, product rule ulit. Differentiate x squared. Sorry, stay mo sa x squared times differentiate y. Derivative ni y is dy dx. Plus, stay mo si y. Tapos, differentiate natin sa x squared. Derivative is 2x. Plus, last term, product pa rin. So, we still use product rule. Stay mo si 3x. And then, differentiate y squared. Derivative yan is 2y. dy dx. Plus, stay mo si y squared. And then, differentiate 3x. So, you have times 3. Tapos, siguro, simplify muna natin to. You have 2x squared y dy dx. Plus 2xy squared equals x squared dy dx plus 2xy plus 6xy dy dx plus 3y squared. And then, let's proceed to the next step. Ano sinasabi ng next step? Collect both all terms with dy dx sa kabila at lahat ng natitira sa kabila naman. So, sa kaliwa na lang ulit, lahat ng dy dx, lagay natin sa kaliwa. So, meron ito. Nasa kaliwa na yan. Retained lang. 2x squared y dy dx. Alin pa yung may dy dx? Ito. Nasa kanan, so mag-negate. So, you have minus x squared dy dx. Alin pa yung walang dy dx? Ito. Sorry, yung may dy dx, ito. Nasa kanan, so magne-negate. And then, that's it. Tapos, lahat ng walang dy dx sa kanan. You have 2xy, 3y squared, And 2xy squared, pero nasa kaliwa to, so mag-negate yan. Minus 2xy squared. And then, finally, let us solve for dy dx. I-factor out muna natin si dy dx. You have 2x squared y minus x squared minus 6xy equals 2xy plus 3y squared minus 2xy squared. Therefore, ano ngayon si dy dx natin? Dy dx is 2xy plus 3y squared minus 2xy squared all over 2x squared y minus x squared minus 6xy. And that is your final answer. Box lang natin. Ay, sorry. So that is your final answer. Alright, let's have our final example for implicit differentiation. Number 4. Okay, differentiate. Sorry, ang ingay ata ng background. So, differentiate dy dx. I'm sorry. Find dy dx. Okay, for the final example, find not dy dx pala, but the second derivative of y with respect to x, given x squared y squared equals 3 plus y. Okay, gawin natin to. Implicit differentiation pa rin kasi yung y hindi written explicitly in terms of x. Now, gusto natin second derivative of y with respect to x. So, kailangan pa natin yung first derivative. Sa first derivative, gagamit tayo ng implicit differentiation. So, use implicit differentiation and I leave it to you to verify that dy dx, or the first derivative, is given by this quotient. It's negative 2x y squared all over 2x squared y minus 1. So, that's dy dx. Okay? That's the first derivative. Pero, ano yung gusto natin? Gusto natin yung second derivative. Therefore, d squared y over dx squared equals, differentiate nyo to kasi ito yung first derivative. Ito yung i-differentiate natin. Derivative ng first derivative is the second derivative equals derivative nito. This is a quotient, so we use quotient rule. Derivative ng baba ay ano? Low d high tayo pala. So, copy lang natin si low. You have low 2x squared y minus 1. Derivative ng high natin ay, this is a product. Copy nyo muna si negative 2x. And then, differentiate natin si y squared. Derivative ni y squared is 2y dy dx. Plus, copy nyo si y squared and then differentiate si negative 2x. And derivative niyan is negative 2. Okay? That's low d high. Minus high, copy natin si high, negative 2x y squared. Derivative ng low, high d low. Copy derivative nito, no? So, 2x squared y muna tayo. Product. Use product rule, copy 2x squared. Times derivative ni y, which is dy dx. Plus, copy si y. And then differentiate 2x squared. Derivative is 4x. And then derivative ni minus 1 is 0. So, plus 0 or minus 0. And then, all over, low squared, so 2x squared y minus 1 squared. And is this your final answer? Actually, yes, no? Ito na yun. Pero para mas in terms of, para x and y lamang itong nasa kanan, ang gawin nyo na lang, itong dy dx, lahat ng may dy dx, palitan nyo nito. Ayan, so ito ay ipalit nyo sa lahat ng mga dy dx na yan, and then i-rewrite nyo na lang. Kayo na bahala ha, and that will be your final answer. Alright, that's it for higher order derivatives and implicit differentiation. Sana clear naman. Kung may mga tanong, isulat muna and then ask your discussion teachers. And you may work on these examples. These are the end of lecture exercises. Work on these examples para ma-practice kayo at kapag may tanong nga, iipon muna and then tanongin ng discussion teachers later on. Alright, that's it for now. Goodbye.